What's up, everybody? Welcome in once again to SEC State of Mind. I'm Taylor Davis, joined with my co-host, as always, Jason Campbell. But we've got another member joining us today. First guest on our expanded show, SEC State of Mind. Jason and I are so pumped to welcome in college football analyst, three-time All-American at the University of Georgia, and host of his own podcast, See Ball, Get Ball, which is a fantastic name, might I add. Everyone welcome David Pollack. David, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I didn't know it was the first guest. I feel extremely honored. And I like it because it's somebody that I've hit, like not you, Taylor.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me be clear. Not Taylor. I did not hit Taylor. But just to be clear.
On the record, wasn't me.
But I have knocked the crud out of Jason. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Now, it did knock me out.
Okay, let's hear the story.
Okay, so he actually scrambled. He doesn't even know this, but he scrambled, took off. This is when they were beating the crud out of us in our stadium, but it was also the 4th and 13 Michael Johnson catch. Nobody going to remember that one, but we won the SEC championship game. Thank you. Appreciate that. But literally, he scrambled to his right. I go hit him, and I run into one of my teammates when I hit him, and I was knocked out. Go to the sidelines, and this is back in the day before the percussion protocol stuff. Go to the sideline. Ron Corson's like doing this stuff with me, checking me out, and I'm like, bro, I'm not coming out. Like, let me be clear. You got to go. So he gave me 3 numbers. He goes, here's 3 numbers. He goes, you got to remember these numbers. I'll be back in a couple minutes. And I took one of our walk-on kids who was fantastic next to me. I go, bro, go get a Sharpie right now. Write down these 3 numbers on your hand. When Ron Corson walks up to me, you're going to stick your hand up in the air, and I'm going to read it. And so Ron Corson came back, and he was like, what were the 3 numbers? I was like, 13, 26, 43. I'm in, baby. Let's go. And so we finished the game. So
I'll tell you what, now that was a hard-hitting football game. And
yes,
that 4th and 15 just crushed me, man. I was just like, cause that game sent y'all to the SEC championship and knocked us out.
Yes, it did.
That was back in the day, Taylor, where the Georgia game and the Bama game that we played at the end of November always came down to who was going to go play in the SEC championship. And, those guys were stacked. They was loaded that year. Man, I thought you were going to say you hit me. And since I was so built like a rock.
It's true. I did hit you the same time. He's my size. Don't get it twisted. That's a big old boy.
I'm well aware. Oh, my gosh. That's pretty incredible. Well, look, if anyone knows ball and if anyone specifically knows SEC ball, it's these two. So we're going to get into all of it, what's been going on around the conference as of late. As week 3 closes and we look ahead to week 4, it had no shortage of big storylines, right? We had surprising results. We had overtime craziness. So let's just kind of start big picture right now. And I want both of your takes. David, I'll start with you as our guest. Just kind of your pulse check on the SEC as a whole right now. Some of it's been, as expected, and some of it quite literally the opposite. What's your take on where the SEC sits right now?
Man, is it deep? I mean, you just look at teams that can beat you when you don't bring your fastball. Like, find me one that can't. Like, now we could probably debate Kentucky, but you saw their defensive line against Ole Miss, and they can cause some problems. Like, they can't score as well as they'd want to, but man, like Vandy, which is usually in the bottom tier, like they're ranked in the top 20. Like, Missouri is going to continue to come on and be great. Arkansas and Taylor Green can put up points. Like, I just think, like, it's not like it used to be back in our day where you could bring your C game several weeks, like week in and week out. There's a lot more losing coming. You have to have a complete team. Like, you've got to have an offense and a defense, because if you don't bring it one day or you play in a rowdy atmosphere and you don't bring your best, like, you're still going to have to survive like an LSU did last week. Like, elite defense carried the day. Like, so it's going to be interesting to watch, man. But I think it's deep, it's talented, and a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of talent, and a lot of teams that can beat you on any given day.
Yeah, and I think for me, like you said, Vanderbilt is not the team that you used to look at the schedule and say, oh, you can circle that. Like, this team is to be reckoned with. Like, they beat Virginia Tech. They go to South Carolina and beat them in their place. Not just beat them, but handily beat them. And then you talk about, the struggling team probably right now is Kentucky, right? Because offensively, they're not able to put up a lot of points. But like you said, defensively, they're able to keep them in games. But when you think about, to me, the biggest surprise for me so far this season that's kind of not living up to the expectations is Texas. Overall, everyone, gave Arch a lot of hype coming into the season. I told everyone before the season started, and we said on this show that in order for him to have the opportunity to have successful, you have to see him play relevant games first. Everyone was basing everything off of him coming into ball games, sparingly playing, and he shows the elite talent. He shows the elite skill to throw the ball. I said, but it's a difference between being a starter and being a backup coming in and filling in sparingly. I said, so now this kid has the weight of the shoulders on the world. His uncle was Super Bowl quarterbacks. And then all of a sudden you're at the University of Texas and everyone's putting you as the Heisman candidate before you even played your first full start. I just feel like it was too much pressure from the get-go. And then you got to go play Ohio State week 1. And then depending on how he performed in that game was how people going to rate him for the rest of the season. And I think right now he has a lot going on between the ears, more so than physical, because of all the pressure. Now, SEC as a whole, this is probably the deepest, David, we've seen it in Taylor in a long, long time. Like, there is no weak games. For the next 7 to 8 weeks, it's about to be a gauntlet where the oil and water is about to separate.
Yeah.
The great teams are going to rise up, and the teams that are the healthiest towards the end of the season is the teams that are going to have a chance to compete to go to the playoffs, because it's fun to watch. All these teams that we say got great quarterbacks, LSU not putting up a lot of points.
Right.
No.
But their defense last year was their Achilles heel, and now their defense all of a sudden is top notch. So now they're playing, let's not throw the ball and give opportunities to give short fields, because we have a great defense. So we're not trying to explode people like we did a year ago. So it's really fun to watch, man. Even with Auburn just trying to figure out, like, hey, new quarterback, new system. And they're off to a good start with a big game this week. So, Taylor, it's just a lot of great things happening around the SEC.
Yeah, and this time of year is always interesting because you're starting to kind of gather all the data, compare hypotheses, which win actually meant something. Did LSU's win over Clemson hold as much weight as we thought it was going to? I'm not entirely sure. And what does that say about LSU? David says no.
You're sure.
I agree with you.
You're sure. You just don't want to say
we
it.
are.
You're sure.
And so I think that those conversations start coming into play, and you really do start separating Jason's favorite thing to say, meat from the potatoes. But I do think that the Arch Manning conversation is nowhere close to over, because Jason, your point was the hype around him with lesser than opponents. They just played UTEP. He had, I believe, 11 straight incompletions against UTEP. Arguably, he played better against Ohio State. So it does seem like there's more to the story there. Sark is adamant that there is no injury, regardless of the wincing video that everyone has seen when he's throwing the ball. So I think that Texas is in a really vulnerable situation. There's so much to unpack here. Let's focus on Vanderbilt for a second. Vanderbilt and South Carolina, I'm not entirely sure anyone expected it was going to go the way it did. Maybe Vandy does go in and get a dub, but 31-7. We are talking a very comfortable
meat bottom.
Vandy asserted their will. Now, quarterback Lenora Sellers goes out, and that's kind of what I want to talk about here when we're talking about the pulse of South Carolina, because it feels like this guy is the team. And that's a very fine line with your quarterback being the heartbeat and your quarterback being everything that you depend on. There's a difference in those two. Whether or not Vanderbilt was going to end up with a win if Lenora Sellers stayed in that game and stayed healthy, I'm not entirely sure. Vandy had a great game plan. But what are you taking away from that matchup in particular? South Carolina is going to go on the road and face Missouri this week, which I think will be interesting. But like Jason, you said, Vanderbilt is no longer one that you look past. Are you more impressed with Vandy or more concerned about South Carolina?
Can they both be true? Because
sure.
I'm very impressed with Vandy.
Okay.
And the difference to me with Vandy and South Carolina is South Carolina's, this is not a surprise with their offense. Their offense has been leaking oil for a while now. Like, punt returns have been the best part of their season so far. Lenora Sellers still getting settled. He hasn't played well. And going back to your conversation, you mentioned Arch, but we also could do a little bit further. We could mention Nussmeier. We could mention Lagway. We could mention Sellers. Like, these are all guys in this league that we said, these are ballers. Well, how about the guys that y'all left behind, and John Mateer and Joey Aguilar and Bo Perbula? Like, it's amazing what's happened to the top of this quarterback-heavy league that we thought the guys we knew, and now what we're finding out. So, like, The difference to me was Lassiter. The difference to me is Richardson. The difference for me is like you've got more guys on Vanderbilt that are toting the rock, that are running it, that are helping their quarterback out, a system that is better formulated around what they have, and they took care of the football. So, like, I've been unimpressed with South Carolina and specifically their offense all year long. Like, nothing's been easy. Like, it's just not – like Lenora Sellers is the catalyst. He needs to be the running back. He needs to throw it. Like, sometimes he might even need to catch it, right? Because the guys don't catch the football. But, like, I don't see a lot of last year, early in the season, South Carolina struggled. This year, they're struggling just the same. And they've got to find some answers because otherwise it's going to get worse.
Right.
Well, all of those are correct. Like you just said, when you mentioned all the other quarterbacks, it really made me look to like the NIL world. And the reason I say that is most of those quarterbacks gull up so much of the revenue share for each of those teams to the point that you don't have a lot left over to build around. And so my question is, are you putting too much emphasis on that one guy in college football that's still an amateur athlete to ride the whole ship with for the end of the season? Like, you got to be able to have it spread it out more so, because you're seeing it. You can have the one guy all day long, but if you don't have a nucleus, just look at Vanderbilt. Like Diego Pavia, his stats doesn't just blow you away, but it's the way that he builds his teammates around him, the way he gets those guys to play hard, all those little details that matter. But we live in a world where everyone wants to put a star beside someone based off their stats. You know, your star is not your leadership quality. And I think a lot of these teams is, when you look at John Mateer, he comes to Oklahoma with his quarterback coach, with his offensive coordinator. So he's not relearning. He's now a third quarterback. He's a third coach on the football field. When you think about, Aguilar, he comes to a system, man, that these guys have dynamic receivers. And you saw this week against
quarterback
Georgia.
Friendly.
Yeah, it's quarterback friendly. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, Nico and his representation, you was looking at it the wrong way, because you caught yourself from being in a system that's going to prepare you for the NFL to be a top draft pick. And now you're nowhere to be heard about, but this kid is seeing the opportunity and he's taking advantage of it really well. So it's just the quarterback position, especially Lagway, missing all the spring, missing all the fall camp. And now all of a sudden he's in a situation where he's playing and he feels like, when you start to throw that many interceptions, David and Taylor, that means you're trying to force things to happen because you feel like you're pressing, because they do have a good defense, but their offense, it seems to be the issue right now. So,
well, and the thing with Lagway that's the most disappointing, and Jason will know this obviously as a quarterback, like when you watch Lagway, so there's a multitude of ways he can beat you.
Right.
And you see the corner route and you go, bang, like that dude just fit that in there in a tight window. That is elite. That's really, really good. But the problem is his accuracy will come and go, but that's not the big problem. I can live with a QB whose accuracy comes and goes. Yep. 4 out of his 5 picks last week were from a absolutely clean pocket with zero pressure. That's called bad decision making. Yeah. And when you're making bad decisions, I can't live with that. Like, I can live with not executing at a high level on every single snap. But now you walk to the sidelines and he looks lost. He looks frustrated. He looks like, man, gosh dang, what the heck's going on? I can't figure this out. And, man, last year Florida got their backs to a wall and all of a sudden they exploded and did something they thought we couldn't do. Well, I'm here to give them that opportunity again. Yeah. Because I don't think they're coming back from this. Like, I feel like their backs are against the wall. It looks ugly. Nothing about it looks good. And now your prize, you got Miami. Okay, have fun.
Seriously, like the schedule is not going to afford you any grace either. No, I think it's really interesting if we go back to preseason and fall camp and all the pointless noise that it includes. The quarterbacks that we were all fixated on are not the ones we're talking about for good reason. We're here with criticism for them. And I think Joey Aguilar's story is one of the best in college football right now. This guy was about to become a firefighter. He thought he was done. And he somehow finds himself in this offense. And this Tennessee offense, like you guys said, very quarterback friendly. He looks more comfortable than Nico did. Like, this seems like it is fitting him so well. When you look at the controversy that Tennessee was dealing with in the offseason, also losing Dylan Sampson, who led the SEC in rushing yards, the fact that this offense looks the way it does in week 3 is really, really impressive. And so let's talk about that game because it was one of the best of the weekend. Georgia ultimately getting the win 44-41 in overtime. I know everyone I live in Nashville, so I feel the repercussions of Tennessee losing one like that. Everyone in Knoxville was beside themselves because, Jason, like we talked about last week, this was the 9th straight for Georgia. They've just had their number. They are the only team to go into Neyland Stadium since the beginning of the 2022 season and win. 2023?
No,
oh,
3
I
times.
thought you were saying 3. Yes. So
Heupel's 23-0 at home, except Georgia.
So the fact that it was within reach, I'm sure, is devastating. And moral victories can literally get out the door. But I do think that there is a lot to hang your hat on for Tennessee. I don't think you're hitting the panic button if you're a Vols fan, because this thing is quite literally gelling way faster than I think most people anticipated. Y'all's thoughts on that result?
I think you leave that game feeling better about Tennessee than you do
Georgia. Great.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying that because you're out both starting corners. You're out a ton of linemen. And the thing I like the most about Aguilar, now listen, he came out on fire. When you go 14 for 14 for 200 plus yards and 3 tutties to start the game, like against the Kirby defense,
their defense,
that's unbelievable. But then what happened? Then they got popped back.
Yes.
Then they got hit in the mouth. Georgia comes out, takes the lead. Dude kept swinging. And I think when you watch the tape of Aguilar, on target throws, he used to miss high a lot. He used to have a lot of high turnover worthy plays. They're very decisive. It's a system that's extremely quarterback friendly because they go fast. They define looks to the defense. They spread you out, make you play vanilla. But the biggest thing is like seeing the matchups out wide and throwing it up. That was the difference in that game. Like understanding where to go to and throw the deep ball. How many times did we watch Nico last year miss a deep ball?
Seriously.
Miss a deep ball. Miss a deep ball. Overthrow. All the balls that were caught for touchdowns last week, they were all underthrown. That's the hardest play to defend as a DB. It's an underthrown football because I have to adjust. If you throw it too long, bro, I can't catch it regardless. So underthrowing those, having some touch on those footballs. Now, Heupel also evolving as an offensive coordinator. I love the formations. True. I love them bringing it in. I love them having tweaks off of tweaks. Like, it was fun to watch. So, yeah, Aguilar definitely they won the trade, man. They stood on principle. And they said, this is not how we're going to do it. You're not going to sit out practice, Nico. Like, if you want to bargain, you're going to practice. Your butt's going to be there. Okay, fine. Get out of here. And then they got Aguilar, and they're like, okay, we won the trade. This was a good deal for us. And a guy that didn't even go through spring is absolutely balling.
Well, the brand is always bigger than the individual. Anytime the individual start feeling like you're bigger than the brand, now it becomes a locker room issue. And so what Tennessee did was tell their whole team by one of their star players is, if you don't want to abide by the team rules and about what we're trying to do as a team, then we will move on from you. And I think that sends a message throughout your whole locker room to guys understanding that, hey, you're either with us or you're against us. And there's no individuals in this sport. So, but I'm going to go the opposite side. I'm going to go Georgia learned a lot about themselves because Gunnar Stockton going into the game, everybody was saying, can Gunnar throw the ball down the field? Can Gunnar make the necessary plays to win a big game? You know, they struggled against Austin Peay. They struggled a little bit against Marshall. Is he the guy? Is he ready? And then all of a sudden, what do? He goes to Tennessee. Every time Tennessee scores, they doesn't flinch. He comes right back and they answer. And then on 4th and 6 to send the game, to tie the game, you throw a fade ball on 4th and 6. Not a high percentage throw, right? But you complete it for a touchdown, and then you come back, you hit the 2-point conversion to tie the game up. So to me, Gunnar Stockton showed me a lot in this game because he wasn't talked about as much preseason with a lot of top quarterbacks in the SEC. And that's the reason why I think Georgia is now someone that you have to deal with, because now they look like, oh, we do have a guy. And we have a guy that's not afraid of the big moment and not afraid of pressure, that he's willing to step in when he needs to and make plays and not afraid of letting it go. And I saw him get hit. I saw him get back up. Yeah. And I saw Georgia defense that said, hey, we give up some big plays. Those one-on-one matchups, Tennessee won them down the field. They're going up high, pointing the ball. But like you said, it wasn't long foul balls. It was giving the receiver an opportunity to make a great play on it. And I think those are the things you learn. But I think Georgia learned, like, hey, up front defensively, we're good. We have to get better on the back end. Now, with that being said, we have a guy. And now when your teammates look at in the locker room and say, oh, we got a guy that we can go and compete with anybody against, now that changes the whole dynamic of your locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. It just never ceases to amaze me. I mean, with the turnover and how quickly the landscape of college football changes, it just seems like the mental blueprint of a Georgia team remains the same. Like, and that's on coaching. Like this truly is Kirby Smart's bread and butter, having those guys mentally. I mean, like the momentum was going Tennessee's way is majority of the game. You never feel like Georgia's out of a game. They never feel like they're out of a game. And as someone who is talking to these players and on the sideline regularly, that's not a given anymore. I mean, the mental element of this thing is rapidly changing, and somehow Kirby has maintained consistency in that regard. And I think that isn't talked about enough. Great point about Josh Heupel adapting given the situation he's in as well. I thought that was well said. I can't believe this one hasn't come up yet. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. I mean, one of the most compelling games of the weekend, truly a back and forth, ended up being a heartbreaker for Notre Dame, losing because of a botch snap on the extra point. And as time ran out, Texas A&M was able to get it. The broadcaster said it, and it feels like the kiss of death that Texas A&M is back. How do we feel about that? What Mike Elko is creating in College Station?
Man, Jason Campbell would love to have the speed that Marcel Reed has. Casey Concepcion comes over and from NC State, 4'4" guy. Unbelievable with the ball in his hands. Mario Craver comes over from Mississippi State, 10'7" guy. Bussy, 10'7" guy. There's not a faster, more dynamic receiver room in the country. And it's just amazing to watch A&M because they're the best team in the state of Texas. And I don't even think we've seen them play their best ball. Like, their defense has to continue to grow and get better. But offensively, man, this is a team that we were like, smash. Like, top 6 linemen, 7 linemen back. Big dudes, hammer. That's what we're going to do. They're going to run the football with Moss. They've thrown it 70% of the time.
Seriously?
Dude's throwing it all over the yard. Marcel Reed is developing and growing as a passer. He's willing to stay in the pocket, and I would be too with those dudes. Like, he's got some absolute superstars out wide. So, A&M really just showed everybody. Listen, next 4 games, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, at Arkansas. A pretty good runway to do some more damage. And then you look up down the stretch and listen, their defense has to improve. Like, I get it. That has to improve. But I've just been impressed with scoring over 40 points in 3 straight games, and the way they've done it is counterintuitive than we thought coming into the season.
Exactly.
And typically those are the games that A&M lose, right, in the past.
Yes.
We've seen them lose those type of games in the past before. And to see them not flinch, Notre Dame missing that botched the extra point. And how many games we've seen this year, pro and college, that comes down to special teams already early on in the season. It's been a lot. And, those little things can win you games or get you beat. And I feel like Marcel Reed grew up a lot more in that Notre Dame hostile environment because you're on the road. Notre Dame back is against the wall. You just lost to Miami. So you really can't afford to lose to A&M or the playoff conversation becomes irrelevant for you. And what do A&M do? They get down 2 scores and they fight back. And then they keep fighting back. And then Marcel Reed on 4th down. How many times we got to keep seeing plays on 4th downs where people are going man coverage and you're getting beat in man coverage? This was 4th and goal to win the game. We saw it against Mississippi State and Arizona State a couple of weeks ago where all they had to do was get a field goal. They go blitz 0, David. And also you lead the middle of the field wide open for a touchdown. This time they go man coverage. Marcel Reed, they have a spy on him so he can't run, but he knows he's not going to run to the end zone from where he's at on the field. So what he does, he buys a little time, gets the one-on-one matchup with the tight end. And the only thing he does is do what you do in basketball, box out. He boxed the guy out and he threw him an alley hoop, and all of a sudden he jumped up there and caught it for a touchdown. So it's just plays like that can help your team. And like you said, this is going to be fun to watch. They are right now the best team in the state of Texas. I know we'll get some heat for that, but just on they look like it.
Texas Tech has something to say about that for sure.
Texas Tech.
So does TCU, but we'll see.
But we'll see. But like I said, this is exciting to watch, man, because you're seeing teams that don't normally win games like that. Now Texas A&M is to be reckoned with.
Yeah. You're also seeing teams really get tested early. I mean, this is true gut check type of game. So really impressed by that. That ended a streak of 13 consecutive road losses to ranked opponents for Texas A&M. Back to your point, Jason, that those were games that they typically saw go the other way. Alabama gaining momentum again or nah? Defeating Wisconsin this past week, they put up 454 yards of total offense to Wisconsin's 209. Ty Simpson looked more comfortable, 24 of 29 for 382 yards. 2 of his 4 touchdowns to Ryan Williams, who also seemed more in his element back on the perimeter, like Jay and I talked about a couple weeks ago. Can we garner much from the last 2 weeks from Alabama? Or was week 1 a better indicator?
You want to go ahead and go, Jason? Because I keep stealing all the stuff first. I'm going to get you some opportunity.
No, you the guest. You the guest. But I'll go first. I'll say this.
Go ahead. Brag on Alabama for us. I want to hear you brag on the Bama.
To do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to keep it neutral. And what I'm going to say by that is the first game you played against Florida State.
Sure.
Right? And you didn't show up.
Yeah.
Now, you show up against Louisiana Monroe 7-3-0. That doesn't really impress me, but they did look better. Now you go against a Wisconsin team without their starting quarterback.
Right.
So if you don't have your starting quarterback, that hurts you in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. But I will say offensively, though, I give it to them. Offensively, they look a lot better. They look a lot more crisp. And it's almost like Coach Saban has came out of his closet or wherever he was at and came in there and then grabbed somebody by the chest in a team meeting and did something about some attitude checking, because I see guys playing a lot harder. I see guys playing a lot more together. I see a lot more paying attention to details. And to me, that means somebody has gotten a message across. But we will find out. There's a bye week, and then there's the big showdown in Athens. And at that point in time, that would show me if they're able to go into Athens and win that game or compete at a high level, then that showed me that they have learned from game 1. Because your biggest lesson in any football, college, pro, is what you do between week 1 and week 2. But they have improved, but I want to see it against a relevant opponent like a Georgia football team.
Fair.
Yeah, Taylor, you set that up, and he eloquently described kind of in a decent way of how good Alabama is, despite as ULM and Wisconsin with a backup quarterback. Like, here's the thing. Ty Simpson was running for his life week 1. Call it what it was. He was not good protection. Week 2, he goes 17 for 17 for 3 touchdowns. Week 3, he goes 24 of 29 with several drops. So this is a guy making his first start on the road. That's a difficult spot to be in. He got happy feet. His line didn't play good.
Yep.
I wasn't one of those burying the Tide. There's a lot of people that did. I don't think they're buried by any stretch of the imagination. Ryan Williams, though, man, welcome back.
Right?
And this had to happen. My big thing going into this game was I was like, listen, if the Tide want to be the Tide, Ryan Williams has got to be Ryan Williams.
Right.
He hadn't had a 100-yard game since the Georgia game a year ago. And finally, that dude is way too good for that, Campbell.
Agreed.
That dude makes too many people miss, Taylor, to even remotely not be a guy that's a dominant force in every game. They got him the football, and he made some of those plays. You go, okay, he doesn't have ACLs. How does he do that? He's just he's that kind of good. But I think Jeremy Bernard is their number 1 guy.
Yeah.
They get healthy at the running back spot. I still have question marks about their pass rush, of course. I still have question marks about their pass defense that I think that we'll have to have answers to. But Ty Simpson and company just reminding you, he's pretty good. Receivers are pretty good. Weapons the offensive line will be all right. They'll get healthy with getting Jam Miller back, getting Tim back on the defensive line. And then they're going to be in this thing, man. They're too talented not to. So I didn't throw dirt on their grave. I know a lot of people enjoyed the heck out of that FSU game, but I do think it was like a perfect storm of FSU coming back at home and Alabama being taking them a little bit lightly and them doing what they needed to do to take care of business.
Completely agree. And you don't expect that much of a switch flip from what we saw from Florida State last year, 2-10, to taking down Alabama in week 1. Also, the Gus Malzahn impacts of that game. So it just had all the makings of it. I totally agree with you. One more I want to get y'all's take on. Ole Miss defeating Arkansas, 1-possession game by the end of it. Are we not talking about the Rebels enough?
I tell you what, that game I watched, and it was interesting because I don't think Arkansas thought that Austin Simmons wasn't starting. It's almost like they was prepared to stop Austin Simmons, and all of a sudden here comes Shamlis, the guy that won that Ferris State Division II championship. Yep. And all of a sudden this guy comes out there and he looks like a younger, I've heard people say Baker or Russell Wilson, just because the way he was moving around, the way he was threading the needle. And that game became a shootout, which ultimately was solved at the end by a turnover. But what do you do if you Ole Miss now? Because this kid played really well. And now I think they have a little bit of a quarterback controversy going on at Ole Miss. Who's the guy to start? We know Simmons the future, but this kid here, he's a 6-year guy, and he looked like nothing fazed him. Right. And he protected the football, which has been a problem for Simmons. He's been turning the ball over early on this season. So I think Arkansas saw a lot out of Taylor Green. Like, this guy showed that he belongs to be talked about in the SEC. Offensively, Bobby Petrino got those guys running the football, but he's also dialing up really good plays, and he's letting Taylor Green be Taylor Green. Taylor Green's problem is sometimes he'll play really well, and he's going to give you that one play that he just throws you one. He just throws you one. He's like, dude, you don't have to make every play. Like, know when to say, they got me on this one. But that was an interesting game for me. But Ole Miss is one of those teams you got to keep an eye on. Yeah. Offensively, it's never been their problem. Defensively, last year was probably the best year I've ever seen them play defense.
Yes.
But this year, it seems like they're back to the old Ole Miss defenses.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest problem. Listen, Lane Kiffin, it don't matter who you put at quarterback. Like, he knows how to coach, and he's going to get the best out of it. And Trinidad Shambliss was on everybody's radar, I'm sure. Like, but now he joins Jordan Tamu and Chad Kelly in the last 30 years of 350 plus passing and 2 rushing touchdowns. Like, just kind of out of nowhere. I actually talked to the Ole Miss GM, and he was like, dude, we found him, and we were like, man, this kid can play. Like, he's not big. He's like, I don't know if he'd last a whole season, but if he's got to play, he can play. Like, he can spin it, balls out quick. And then, like, when he got here, he was like, whoa, okay, he can really play. And the good thing about him, like, he can run it, he can throw it. He, like you said, 6-year guy experience, been in big moments, pressure situations. It was like business as usual. And so that was not surprising to see. The offense is explosive, but everything about Ole Miss, man, like, how good can the defense be? They've got to be better than that. Like, they didn't go into the portal as much. They felt good about what they had. They don't feel as good after the Arkansas game. And that's going to be a big question mark for them moving forward. Even Kentucky had some success against them, but I think Ole Miss's season will hinge as if that defense can find some more answers, because that was not acceptable. That was not fun to watch if you're an Ole Miss fan. That felt like the old Ole Miss, and you thought last year, like, all right, we're out of this. Like, we graduated, but not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast, my friend. Excellent. It's going to be really interesting to see all of this kind of play out, as these teams that have arguments for and against themselves are going to have to take each other out. So it'll all fall into place the way it always does. David, around here, we have a couple weekly awards that we give out. One is an SEC standout. So at this point of the season, doesn't mean it's going to stay there for the entirety. It's just kind of on your radar right now. It can be a player, a team, a scheme, a coach, whatever you feel is making a mark right here in week 3. And then we're also going to have the flip side of that. But let's start with the positive around here. Who is your SEC standout as we head into week 4 matchups?
I like that we start with the positive. That's good, Taylor. It's like when you dancing on the sidelines when you forgot where you were. I didn't forget. Yeah. I'm positive that Bo Perbula is going to continue to play at a high level. And that sucker's good, man. Like, he's really good. He's decisive. The system is good. He hasn't had to run a lot. But he's putting up elite numbers. He's putting the ball on target. He's trusting his guys. He's running a great system, man. If you're not watching, you remember Bo Perbula was the changeup for Drew Aller. He was the guy that came in, and he's the wildcat guy. Like, doesn't throw the football. Like, he's been on target as much as anybody in the country. Accuracy is really, really high. Quick release, quick decision-making. Already shown some clutch gene in the Kansas game. So, like, if you ain't watching Bo Perbula and Missouri, you better get to watching, because they're going to be undefeated, and Bama's going to be rolling to town in a couple of weeks. And I think Bama will be rolling by that point too. And we're going to be like, this might be quite the showdown.
Right. I like that pick. Jay, who you got?
Man. So he goes offensively. I'm going to go defensively. I'm going to go Spears at LSU.
Okay.
This LSU defense, man, let's just face it. Last year, that team's Achilles heel. And this year, it's like, where they come from? Mm-hmm. Like, these guys are Weeks and his brother, and that whole defense is just kind of putting on their shoulders to say, we don't care what the offense does. We're not giving up more than 17 points a game. Like, that's our goal, is not to give up more than 17 points a game. So, yeah, I think Spears with 2 picks this last week against Florida, which kind of turned the game, right? You know, it was a close game there for a minute. Then you get the pick 6 and get another pick. Like, it's an offensive show in the SEC. But, David, you always know, man, if you want to win a championship and it gets November, December, you can't throw the ball around because it's cold weather and you're not in a dome and you got to be able to run the football. I like your pick with Missouri because of the running back Hardy as well with the quarterback.
Baller.
Like, Hardy is balling, running the football. Like, that's all that kid.
Bro got a thick lower half, man. Like tackling a tree stump, dog. He's just like, ow, what happened? It didn't move.
When he was playing for the Warhawks down there in Louisiana Monroe, like, we knew that kid was going to be something special. So they got them a running back that's a bowling ball. But
how dare you not talk about Jackson Arnold? Unbelievable.
We'll get there. Don't you worry.
I'm biased, but I know we're going to get to this Auburn-Oklahoma matchup. So I'm saving that because.
Oh, okay.
It's a big one. It's a big one. We're going to get
LSU played Clemson. They played Florida. So they played 2 really big opponents. Now we're getting to the T for our schedule.
Okay. I like it. My SEC standout, we've already touched on it, so I don't have to go too in depth, is the Texas A&M offense. I thought it was a really good showing. Like you both mentioned, Marcel Reed is known for his wheels, right? And he has developed in that passing attack. And I also think the element of Mario Craver and KC Concepcion being new to this team, like the chemistry that they already have, that is not necessarily going to be the case. I don't care how talented and elite your quarterback and receivers are. Putting these new people together that have a lot of experience at various programs and expecting it to mesh that well quickly is not guaranteed. And I think the fact that they have put that chemistry on display so early is a lot to hang your hat on. So that's my SEC standout after week 3. The flip side of that, we call SEC Siren, and it's not guaranteed to stick with you. You can redeem yourself this weekend. But what you've seen from someone, some team, some element, has you hitting the siren a little bit. Not the panic button, just a siren, something to take note of and that needs to improve quickly. What you got?
I mean, I'll hit the siren, I'll hit the panic button, I'll hit the eject button, I'll hit whatever you want me to hit. Like, Lagway, offense, Florida. Like, it's just not, like, year 2 means, growth. Year 2 means, like, understanding. Year 2 means comfort and taking the next step. And man, oh man, it's been bad to watch. I mean, you score 16 against USF, and then you go next week to LSU and you stink it up and have 5 picks. Like, I think it's been a frustrating start for him. A guy that has a lot of promise. He's still a sophomore. He can still turn it around. Like, talent is through the roof, but you just got to be like Florida, Gainesville, people like that just went through high school. JC. Yeah. Like, they went through high school, JC, and go, is Florida good? Mm-hmm. Like, do they play good football? Like, you went through a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, a whole class, and you're like, I didn't know Florida was good at football. And like, that's crazy. Now you're like, broski, we're here. Yeah. We have arrived. I have exercised the demons. I'm ready to rock and roll. And you literally fell flat on your face to start the season and took a frying pan to the face the last couple weeks, and just they got to figure something out. So I'm pulling the sirens, the parachutes, the whatever you want to call it.
All of it. Does he make it through season?
I don't see how. I don't see how. I hate that. I hate to say that, and I don't say that lightly, but man, it's just it ain't the schedule ain't getting easier. It's not going to be like a reprieve. Now you got Miami and others coming, Texas and Texas A&M.
I know. You're right. Jay, who you got?
Well, 2 weeks ago, I said Kentucky, right? Now we're 2 weeks later, and I could go one or two ways. I already agree with David with everything he just said about Florida, so I'm gonna let that sit there. Mine's right now is South Carolina, and the reason I say South Carolina and Coach Beamer is because offensively, you're supposed to have one of the top 5 quarterbacks in all of college football. And your offense seems to be your Achilles heel is struggling right now. And you're not being explosive offensively, and you're not being very creative. So you watch those games up to this point, it's the siren starting to sound in South Carolina because the Virginia Tech job is now open. And what attention if Frank can't get it. I mean, not Frank, is Beamer Shane can't get it turned around this year and have South Carolina towards the end of the season being talked about as one of the teams that could possibly make the playoffs. Is it time for him to change venues? Because I like what he's done at South Carolina. He's brought a lot of attention there. He's made them very competitive.
Yeah.
But has it reached its peak? Because with the quarterback that you have and everything, like South Carolina always give you this appetizer and you're waiting for the full meal, but it just doesn't happen.
You're right.
You want to break through.
I'm waiting for the breakthrough for South Carolina. So this
Spurrier tried Holtz. Like they've tried some big name coaches that were older, and it just hadn't found that next level yet.
Man, it's a hard reality of it. Well, my SEC Siren is about to piss people off, especially those who love me and perhaps one person on this podcast. My SEC Siren is the Auburn defense. And I only say that to segue into what's about to be a really big, pivotal stretch for Auburn as they face Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia. And this defense has not shown me near enough to believe that they can handle John Mateer. You faced South Alabama this past weekend. You allowed 19 first downs, 9 in the first half, 10 in the second half. There are too many holes, too many inconsistencies, too much miscommunication, especially for the DBs right now, a group that you felt really good about in fall camp. I'm not saying they don't have the talent. I'm not saying that DJ Durkin can't get it together for him, but I am hitting the siren that it starts now. This stretch of 3 games for Auburn make or break their season, and defense is going to have to play exceptionally better when they face this Oklahoma offense.
Whoa! Let's go.
Apologize.
My favorite part is you started with this Auburn defense is pissing me off. That was my favorite part. Like, I'm like, Taylor, I couldn't love you anymore.
Listen,
that is awesome.
I am a fan through and through. I love Auburn with my whole heart, but I also can call a spade a spade. So look, that's the reality of it. But it's the perfect transition for us here. And Jay, I know you're going to be on the call for this week. Like I said, without question, the biggest game so far this season. It's a huge test for Oklahoma as well. I don't scoff at what Auburn has put out there. I do think there's room for improvement, and Oklahoma's riding a massive high right now with what they've put out there with John Mateer. So no one better to give us a little game preview than Jay Cam. What have you seen so far? What are going to be some keys for this game?
Well, my co-host is shooting fire today.
Fire. I love it. Girlfriend, get it.
I'll say this. Last week,
Jay. I'm going to take some notes.
Coach Freeze did acknowledge at halftime that defensively we have to pick it up. And he was saying about our keys and assignments, right? Like, do your job. Like, stop trying to do someone else's job and focus on your technique, focus on your assignment, and be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And I think that's the definition of great defenses, right? Like you said, we went to Baylor. You know, we gave up, 400-some yards passing and 100-something.
419. Yeah,
we gave up 419. So, and now, so you play a Ball State team. Ball State is Ball State, right? But then you come against South Alabama, and they have 3 play drives where they soak up 9 minutes of clock almost. You know, so, and now you're going to get to the gauntlet of your schedule. We play 3 top 10 teams in a row, 2 on the road, and then you get the bye week and get Georgia coming to home. So the schedule is, for Auburn, this is when the season starts. And like you said, defenses on the road have to keep you in ball games, right? Offensively can't turn the ball over when you're in a hostile environment and give a team like Oklahoma a short field. So I think for Auburn this week, you know, FanDuel has this game at, you know, Oklahoma -6.5 and over under 48.5. So they're anticipating a close matchup, but at the same time, you can see a little bit of leeway because of what Oklahoma being at home. But in order for Auburn to win this game, everyone knew coming to the season, all the talk was about our receivers. And the first couple of weeks, we've been running the football really well, right? You got a new offensive line. You're trying to get these guys engaged into the game together. And the best way to do it, David, you know, is to come off the ball and hit someone rather than be the absorber in pass protection. So you got your offensive line playing confident from running the ball. Now, in order for Auburn to really win this game against the Oklahoma defense, and it's Brent Venables, you know he's going to put 7 in the box, stack the box.
37.
Make you have the ball. You know what I'm saying? So this is, to me, is a game where we have to hit explosive plays when they are there. You have to, utilize the play action off the run game. You have to let Jackson Arnold be involved like he's been with the run play action, the RPO system. But for Jackson, though, this is your homecoming, right? You cannot shoulder this load on yourself. You have got to let your teammates shoulder this load for you. Your teammates got to say, hey, bro, we got your back. We know what this game means to you. We're going to go and play for you. Because if you go into a game and you're trying to shoulder the load and you're trying to prove somebody wrong and all that, that's when things derail. And that's what he can't do. He can't make it personal. He got to let it be Auburn versus Oklahoma. And this defense, you got to go and play with some type of tenaciousness. We have the talent. We have the ability. Now it's time for us to put it all together and play assignment football, but play attack. If you make a mistake, so be it. But don't stop attacking. And I think that's how Auburn has to go and play this weekend.
I like it. Make mistakes 4,000 miles an hour. I'm all right with mistakes. Okay, let me start with a positive. I want to start with a positive for you Auburn fans.
Let's go for it.
Let's get a little bit excited about this. Like, Jackson Arnold, is he John Mateer? Nope. Is he the best quarterback you've had in a hot minute? Yes. Like, that's what you got to be excited about. Last quarterback to run for as many yards as him, Nick Marshall. How did that work out for Auburn? That worked out pretty good. Hey, last guy to throw for a touchdown, rush for a touchdown in an opener, Cam Newton. That worked out pretty good. So he's being mentioned with some quarterbacks that fit the Auburn mold in the way they've been successful. I like his tenaciousness. I like he'll run through a freaking wall. Like, bug meet windshield for linebackers. Like, he will absolutely run through your chest. Now, does he have to be better in the passing game? Yes. Auburn has 0 turnovers. So, like, that's a great thing. They've got Coleman. They've got Singleton Jr. Like, they've got some weapons. To me, and you can steal this on the broadcast if you feel like it, like, Auburn's motto for the rest of the season should be pound the rock and take the shot. Like, you see Coleman out there? Okay, he's Jason Campbell's size. Like, throw the football up in the air. Just throw it up in the air. I don't have to be right. Like, put Singleton and Jr. in motion, hand him the football. Get the football to him on the quick screen game right now. Let them do their thing. Like, they've got weapons. They've got all that stuff. The defense is exactly why I would be a little bit cautious, because John Mateer isn't a dude. He's the dude.
Yes.
The dude. If I have the number 1 pick in the college football draft back in 2024, and I get 1 pick in every single college football player in the country, John Mateer is my first pick.
Wow.
Give me John Mateer. Like, that dude's a dude now. And I've seen it for years. It ain't just this year. Like, people are like, oh my God, where did he come from? Go watch the dude, man. Like, he got hit at Washington State a lot, had to learn how to play under pressure, make people miss, run through them. Dude is a warrior. Like, so Auburn's defense is going to have to play at a high level. They're going to have to get him on the ground when they get opportunities. They're going to have to hit him. They're going to have to play man coverage in a good way. But the problem is, even with this great man coverage, that dude will throw a back shoulder. Like, he can put the ball in tight windows. So the only way Auburn wins is if they control the rock, if they run the football, win that time of possession, and make some big plays. And they got to get over 24. They've got to. They might have to get over 30, like, right? Because they're that good on the other side.
Yeah, I like that. I think this one's going to be incredibly compelling. It's one of the best matchups of the entire weekend, not just in the SEC. I think that John Mateer's, showmanship and the spark around him, it's almost like he's feeding it. I mean, like, he loves the situation that he's in right now. No moment is too big for him. He's that kind of personality. My crew actually covered him this past week, and so I got their take on him, and they were like, no, he's as advertised. Like, he is that guy, which I think is compelling. I go back to the Michigan game, though. He had 3 kind of sidearm throws that were tipped. Like, that when he is human, when he shows some of those potential inconsistencies, this Auburn defense has to be advantageous with it. You can't just tip that ball. You got to come away with turnovers, because playing in Norman with all of the hype that surrounds this one, and specifically surrounds John Mateer, you can't let those go unnoticed. I think a really big part of this is that defensive lineman R. Mason Thomas is suspended for the first half of this game. He led them in sacks last season for Oklahoma. He is a freak off the edge, and he could make Jackson Arnold's day very difficult. Giving Jackson a half to get his feet under him, to get his heart regulated, to get his mind right without that guy coming after him, I think bodes really well for Jackson, because this one's going to have everything that you want, physically, mentally, emotionally. having that guy in the locker room or on the sideline for the first half isn't the worst thing for Jackson. Also, Auburn news, running back Damari Alston is expected to be back from injury. He was out last week. He is listed as RB1 on the depth chart. Jeremiah Cobb had a great day, over 100 yards rushing last week. So you feel good about the depth at running back. But Damari's the guy, and having him back is going to be really crucial. So,
Taylor, first of all, I couldn't love you anymore for all of that. But my favorite part is that you literally like, hey, John Mateer, I'm going to poke some holes in his game throughout the first part of the season. He had those 3 passes that were knocked down. Like, that's how special this flipping dude is. Yes, he's going to throw it from all kinds of angles and he'll get tipped. But, like, he's just – man, like coming into the season, I'm like, y'all don't understand. Like, this is a superstar. Yeah. Like, but we haven't seen it at a big level. I'm like, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't get it. Like, go watch the dude play. Like, 100%. Play in and play out. And now the whole world's like, oh my gosh! Like, this dude is he is so good.
And he's
got the moxie, the toughness. Like, he's got it all, man.
And you have to rush to contain. And what I mean by that is, he throws the ball as well on the run and outside the pocket than he does inside the pocket. So you almost
player in the country against pressure.
Yep.
Pressure does not bother him.
Right. Yep.
So he gets hit. He's like, number one. Hey, I'm used to this. I went to Washington State, bro. Like, I've been hit. So I've been hit a lot. Like, I'm not worried about you. Like, and also I got a big legs and booty. I'll break some tackles too. I ain't got nothing wrong with that.
Like I said, Auburn is get off the bus, ready to be the hammer. And not the nail.
Not the nail. Another one of Jason's favorite lines. I love it. All right. Last really big SEC on SEC matchup this weekend. South Carolina versus Missouri. And we heard just a little while ago, Bo Prabula is David's SEC standout. And I really like that. I think that there was a little bit of what is this Missouri offense going to look like? Sam Horn kind of had the reins at the beginning of the season, but now you scratch your head that they were ever not going with Bo Prabula. He's just taken to this opportunity so well. So I think it's going to be interesting how South Carolina bounces back and what Missouri starts to do with their season. I think they've kind of been in that under the radar question mark category for the SEC. And maybe it's time that we start putting a little more respect on what they're showing us. Now, Lenora Sellers' status is still kind of questionable. Coach Beamer has given a couple updates saying that he is, quote, optimistic. He doesn't get into specifics, but all signs point to he's in concussion protocol. So it's going to continue to be monitored as the week goes on. But
you got to read the hand, remember? Just
read the hand, Lenoris. Didn't you hear the Sharpie? That's how you get away with it. Another interesting part of this past week was that their edge rusher, Dylan Stewart, who is a freak of nature, was ejected in the second half due to an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. There was confusion if he was going to be eligible to go in the first half this game. He will be. Coach Beamer was notified after that there will not be any extended suspension for him, so they will have him back, a guy that certainly has every quarterback's attention. Before he was ejected, he had 2 tackles for loss, 2 solo tackles, and 2 quarterback hurries. But Bo Prabula, this offense has yet to score less than 40 points. Like we said, they're averaging 51.6 points per game. He has a 76.4 percentage completion. So I think that this is going to be a really interesting matchup, but this one to me leans, we start respecting Missouri a little bit more after this one. I hate it. As someone who has covered South Carolina, Coach Beamer is just awesome. I can't say enough good things about him, honestly. So I hate to put any hate in their direction, but it does feel like there's not enough identity yet. And if you don't have that identity and you're in the situation that you're in right now, heading into week 4, and Missouri's gaining some traction, it feels like a recipe for things to go head over feet downward. Now, our friends over at FanDuel has Missouri as the favorite in this one. The over-under is at 46.5. I think the South Carolina run game against the Missouri rush defense is going to be a compelling matchup in this one and could have an impact. But they are favored by 13.5 right now. So going to be an interesting one. Y'all agree with FanDuel on this one? You think it's that top heavy?
Seems like to me they're anticipating Norris not playing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like to be that, 13.5 like that, you have to think that, Lenoris is in concussion protocol. And, David, you would know this. I guess by Thursday, I guess they have to announce if he's out of protocol, or Friday morning before he can even have a shot to, because, you have to go through a full practice in order to be cleared. And then you have to take this whole baseline test.
David wouldn't know, actually. He's unfamiliar. He didn't go through that.
So this game's in Missouri, right?
Yes.
It's a must-win for South Carolina.
It's in Columbia. Come on now, you got to know that.
Either way, it's in Columbia. It's South Carolina's first true road test too, because the Virginia Tech game was in Atlanta.
It's a must-win for South Carolina. Missouri is in a situation where they can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they play good defense, right? They're at home. But South Carolina, if you can get Lenoris, if he can be healthy for this game, you've got to go in there and you got to take one, because you got to respond from the Vanderbilt loss. That was a bigger loss than people anticipate, because their schedule. Have you seen their schedule?
Yeah.
So they can't afford to go down 0-2 in the conference now.
You're right.
I mean, I get it. Taylor, you love Shane Beamer. They got their Heine spanked, bro.
Like
they got a frying pan to the lid by Vandy. I have no doubt Missouri's a better football team than Vandy. I mean, 31-7. And it would not have mattered if Sellers continued that football game. I watched every play of the game. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, Vanderbilt was the tougher, more physical team. Yeah. Now, I do think, I wonder the physicality. Like, Kansas had some success against Missouri. Now, Kansas is really, really good too. But, like, Purbulo's my guy. I feel like Kevin Coleman can be that guy out wide. Every Mississippi State transfer, we talked about Craver earlier, balling on other people's teams. But I love the 5 wide for Purbulo. I love how he can run. I mean, they do a great job with the snap count. Like, there's so much to like about this squad and the way they run the rock, man. And we talked about with Hardy, like we talked, and his backup that just comes in there and breaks tackles and make plays. Northfleet, like all of it's working, man. Like, and I just, I don't think I don't think they're a team that's going to go away. I think they're going to be very much in this, and it starts with Purbulo and his ability to run, to throw, to handle all the adversity, to be a guy that's been in this game for a number of years and seen a lot of football and been around, and he looks like a guy that's ready to rock and roll and shoot, maybe even get to New York, man, the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
You're not wrong. It's going to be really interesting. I think already the narrative has completely shifted. And when you looked at schedules ahead of the season, some of the games that you were like, oh, you count that as a win, i.e. Vandy, Missouri, even Mississippi State, we still have more to learn about them. That big win over Arizona State, where does that match up? There's more to talk about with the Bulldogs as season unfolds. So I think things are about to get really interesting, especially Auburn, Oklahoma, going to be a big one this weekend. All right, well, we have gone well over our time limit, but hopefully everyone enjoyed it. I know I did. David Pollack, thank you so much once again. Where can people find all of your commentary and your podcast?
Well, we got the see ball, get ball, and the name of it you should like because we talked about it earlier. It's just dumb defensive linemen like me that played against Jason. It's see the ball, go get it. Like, that's why we play defense. Like, we're not the superior mental people by any stretch of the imagination. No, we're on Apple, 3 days a week with the Apple Podcast and anywhere you get podcasts, and then we're on YouTube every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Thursday night, and then Saturday night recaps after all the games we always jump on. So just talk ball, have fun, man. This is the best sport on the planet. There's absolutely nothing better than talking it, and I've enjoyed talking to you guys today.
Yeah, Dave, we appreciate it. I got to come on your show, man. I owe you a favor.
Absolutely. Hey, I owed you already because you coming to my golf tournament. I was very thankful. We got you and Ronnie out there, man. Got my Auburn contingency of people that I know. We're very, very happy about that.
I'm sure they were.
Like, it was the Deep South oldest rivalry, but a lot of us become friends when we're finished. David Green and myself, we talk, and DJ Shockley. I actually played golf with Charles Grant and a lot of those guys. So DJ,
Charles, any good?
Innings. Yeah, Charles good. He'll set you up. He'll talk like he's the worst thing, and all of a sudden he get out there and he's striking the ball and he gets the cigar going, and all of a sudden he just try to get the smoke in your face. And
is he talking trash the whole time?
Talking trash the whole time.
Gots to. I know Charles.
So it's an adventure. It's an adventure.
I would imagine. Golf is the great neutralizer for all of you former NFL and collegiate football players. That's what I'm learning very quickly. All right, well, you heard the man. You know where to get David Pollack and his podcast. Jason will be on the call, as always, Auburn Radio Sports Network, alongside Andy Burcham, Ronnie Brown, on the big game, Auburn, Oklahoma, this weekend. Make sure you check them out. I will be on the call for SMU versus TCU, Iron of the Battle Skillet. in Fort Worth, ESPN2, Saturday at noon Eastern. So that's where you can find all of us. Please share the episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll be back next Tuesday, 1 o'clock Central Time, to break down all the Week 4 action. We'll see you.
Boom.
Peace.